Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing the game Magnus Carlsen versus Sasa Martinovic. Magnus Carlsen has the white pieces and Sasa Martinovic has the black pieces. Currently it's July 16th, 2021 and they're playing the World Cup in Krasnaya Polyana, Sochi, Russia. It is round 2. And white plays e4 and black plays c5. This is still in defense. White played knight f3, defends the piece. Black played d6. After this, white played d4. Black takes, white recaptures, and black develops a knight to f6. White plays knight c3. Black plays knight c6, and white plays knight b3. This is on defense classical variation general. So, the reason he does not just let the knight be there is because he now wanted black to trade with him. And then, even if he plays a move like, imagine he just plays a move like there, and then takes, it's white does not want this because then your queen is developed, but then black can just continue developing, and then although he'll play there and then there, and then really the queen, it's just a target. And then when the queen decides to drop back or something, then black will just continue developing. The queen is just a target because it's not really good. It's not really good on d4. It's just a target, and then black can continue developing. And then he'll actually gain a tempo, and then he'd have a development lead. So that's the reason white did not change. White could have also played knight b5, ma6, and then he could have also played this, but he just did not want to play. So after knight b3, black plays g6, and they just continue developing. And then black castles queenside. White plays f3. He might want to drop the bishop back. Maybe you might have to do it. And then he's also in this position. He's also just preventing knight d4, trying to also attack the bishop. So after this, white castles queenside. Basically, he's saying is, we're going to try to, we might try to attack. Then I might try to defend, but if we both attack, then whoever reaches the door first will win. And sometimes the pieces do just get traded down, but usually there's an attack. So after this, 1 minute. After this, black plays rook c8, and then white plays king to b1. Now, the reason he played king to b1 is because whenever you're in a position like this, it's always just good when you cast the queen side to just go king b1. It gets out of all the mess, and it's more safer. So after this, black plays knight e5, centralizing knight. White plays bishop e2, just developing a piece. And then after this, black plays bishop c4, and then white centralizes the bishop by going bishop d4, and then black decides to trade the bishops, and white recaptures with the queen. Okay, so after this, black plays knight c6. White might trade with the knight because it's centralized, and then he just takes on f6. And then you might be asking, why did he trade a bishop for the knight? Now, I think the reason for this is because currently there is no attack on White's king. It would be really hard to start with, especially because it's starting to become to the end game. And I think what White must be thinking is his knight will be better now. His knights have an advantage right now because they can be centralized. So knight there attacking the bishop, and then White plays h4. Black plays e6. White plays knight e3, retreating, and then White plays h5, and then they trade pawns. After this, White played queen to d2. He could have recaptured. He's going to recapture the pawn anyways. Yeah, so queen to d2, attacking the pawn. Black decides to push it, and then White moves the knight, and then Black plays rook d8. He basically wants to. I want to keep my extra pawn advantage. Now after this, he got an open file, which is good for him. And now after this, he plays f4. So then after this, Black plays knight b4. White plays rook e7, and Black plays rook d6. Sorry, queen d6. After this, White plays rook c1. Black plays knight d5, and basically, the playing f4, it sort of weakens the pawn. Not really, because you have g6, you have g6 if needed. You always have this move. And I think the reason for this move is actually just because he wants to defend the square, not let the pawn advance. It's not really that much of a target because it can easily be defended. So after this, after Black starts attacking, he just decides, well, why not push? And it's okay. I don't see any harm coming after there. You've got doubled pawns. It's bad for you. I don't see any harm after this. That's basically what he's thinking. So so 1 minute. Oh yeah. Okay. So after this, Black plays knight e4 to capture the pawn and trade knights. But if he can, he'll try capturing the pawn so that his pawns do not get isolated and doubled. So after this, White just decides to trade the knight. Black recaptures. And then they have a trade of queens. And then Black recaptures with rook, takes d6. After this, White plays rook e1. Notice that the f5 pawn is hanging, but it does not really matter. If you get isolated double pawns, you're going to win them back eventually. You might even win 2 instead of 1. So after this, Black played rook e8, defending the passed pawn on e3. White takes the pawn, finally, and then Black recaptures. After this, White plays rook e2, defending the pawn, and then a few moves later, we realize that Black is trying to win the g2 pawn. Now, there's actually no need for this because he just wins a pawn, and it's the position, the pawns are equal, but there's an isolated pawn which you're probably going to win. After this, a couple of moves, he plays h4. Now again, you see that it's good that he opened the file. Now he can go with rook h5, and then a few moves later, he decides to move back the knight, attacking the rook. The rook comes to e5, so for a trade. Now, if white does not accept the trade and moves his rook somewhere else, then basically he's going to lose a pawn, and then it's probably going to end out in a draw. So rook takes, pawn takes e5, attacking the knight on d4, and white decides to retreat because he could jump forward, but he just decides to go back because he's attacking the pawn. Now black plays bishop d6, defending the pawn. The reason he did not play the lawn is getting mowed outside. The reason he did not play e4 is because it's sort of overextending. If you go there, and there, it's really simple. Like, imagine if you just place a move like bishop there. It's really simple to reach here. And let's just give black a random move. I guess there. White's going to advance the pawn, attacking the bishop. The bishop's going to have to move, and white's just going to take it and get a clean pawn up. So, after bishop d6, white plays king c2, advancing his king. They both advance, and then they reach opposition. Now, they're basically just using all the moves. Currently, it's currently white is winning. He's about to make a breakthrough. Over here, see, he makes a breakthrough, and then he defends. This is still even material. It's crazy that's even material. But that means, but it's not going to become even material soon. And then black plays bishop d8, trying to get to make the bishop go to d6 so that his king can advance to c6 without the b pawn promoting. Basically, this is what I'm trying to say. This is exactly what I'm trying to say. So, right when he plays there, the reason he had to do this is because if the bishop was not here, and if it was not black's move, it would be an immediately lost. It's still losing. It's losing completely, but it just makes the game go on for longer. Maybe white will blunder. Who knows? And then black plays bishop c6. Sorry, king c6. White plays king d4. Just not letting black advance the king anywhere. And then basically a whole bunch of shuffling goes around. Now, if you're wondering, why not just push the pawn? Well, in this case, it's not going to turn out how you want it to. Actually, let's just say it's over here. And then just continuing to advance. It's not going to end out in your favor. Even if over here you play there, he just wants its pawn. He might lose the pawn, and if white makes a mistake, that's going to be his only chance of even just drawing the game. So yeah, that's the reason why it's fine for him to advance. Then he just decides, well, I'll give a check. It's blocking the bishop, and then black decides, and then what? Of course, the king had to go here, otherwise the pawn would have just promoted. The pawn would have just promoted to a queen. So white just plays king e4. And then black decides, well, I'll push the pawn, and then he's like, well, now, see, this is what I mean. Black will have to move the bishop only on this diagonal. He cannot move it anywhere else, like, because the pawn will promote. So he's got to move, and now you just clean 2 pawns up, and you're winning the game. So white just brings the king to e6, and now that's pretty clear why he's not trading with the knight, but the bishop Sasa Martinovic is not trading the knight for the bishop, because then it's just a matter of a few moves and you're gonna lose. Black will lose. So, and then now he's like, I'm gonna reach king d3, and then black plays bishop c5. This is his last chance. It's still completely losing. Like, imagine if white plays knight d7, trying to promote, then black is there. Now, probably white will realize soon that he's going to have to, this is not exactly, now here black can just continue shuffling the king. This will, I think Magnus Carlsen might, I think this position would actually be a draw in this position. So, instead of that, after there, black played knight c6. This move prevents bishop to a7. Then you'll just take it, and then that's a simple win from there. Even here, just a simple win. And if you take, and if the king takes the knight, then I just promote. That's also a win. You can also just push the pawn after that, so that you can remove the bishop from the board, because they'll have to sacrifice. And for the reason of all these winning moves, black decided to resign the game over here. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and like the video. And this happened when Magnus Carlsen's grown up. Yeah, thank you. Bye. And thank you.